Everyone thinks courage means fighting what terrifies you. They're wrong. On a night around 2,000 years ago, a man knelt alone in an olive grove outside Jerusalem. His name was Jesus. But this isn't a sermon, it's a moment of philosophy so raw, so humanly honest, that it cuts across every belief system and speaks to something universal: the architecture of how we face what we cannot change. The Garden of Gethsemane sits on the Mount of Olives, just east of Jerusalem's walls. In those final hours before his arrest, Jesus came here with his closest followers. He asked them to wait while he went deeper into the garden to pray. And what happened next, what he said, what he felt, reveals something about human suffering that the Stoics would spend centuries trying to articulate. According to the historical accounts, Jesus was overwhelmed. The Greek word used is perilipos, not just sad, but surrounded by grief. He told his disciples, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death." He wasn't stoic in the popular sense. He didn't suppress his anguish. He named it. He felt it fully. This is where most people misunderstand what happened next. He didn't say, "I accept my fate with indifference." He said something far more profound. "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me." He asked for a way out. He genuinely wanted escape, and that's the crucial detail. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, taught that virtue lies in accepting what you cannot control. But they never said acceptance means you don't feel resistance first. Epictetus, who was himself enslaved, understood that the initial impulse to resist is human. It's what you do after that impulse that defines you. Jesus asked for the cup to pass. But then, and this is where philosophy and spirituality converge, he added something that rewrote his own internal narrative. "Yet not my will, but yours be done." He didn't erase his fear. He didn't pretend it wasn't real. Instead, he made a choice about what his fear would mean. This is existentialism before existentialism existed. Jean-Paul Sartre would later argue that we are condemned to be free, that even when circumstances are fixed, our interpretation of them, our response to them, remains radically our own. In Gethsemane, Jesus faced a fixed circumstance, but he was free to choose its meaning. Modern psychology calls this reframing. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, called it the last of human freedoms. When the Nazis took everything from him, his family, his freedom, his dignity, the one thing they couldn't touch was his ability to choose his attitude towards suffering. That choice saved his life and his sanity. But here's what makes Gethsemane different from a simple pep talk about positive thinking. Jesus didn't reframe to escape the suffering. He reframed to walk directly into it. He said yes to the cup. He chose not to run. And that choice, made in full consciousness of what it meant, transformed the nature of what was about to happen. This is the philosophy that separates victims from agents. A victim is someone to whom things happen. An agent is someone who, even when powerless to change circumstances, retains the power to choose their stance toward them. The difference isn't subtle. It's the difference between despair and dignity. The Stoics had a framework for this. They divided the world into what's up to us and what's not. Your health, your wealth, your reputation, your lifespan, not up to you. Your judgments, your desires, your aversions, your responses, entirely up to you. Gethsemane is the perfect test case for this philosophy. Jesus couldn't control what was coming. Arrest was inevitable. Trial was certain. The outcome was fixed. But he could control whether he walked toward it in resistance or in alignment, whether he met it as a victim or as a conscious agent. And that internal freedom, that choice, is what made his suffering meaningful rather than merely tragic. This matters for you not because you're facing execution, but because you're facing something every human faces: the inevitable, aging, loss, disappointment, failure, death itself. We spend enormous energy pretending these things won't happen, negotiating with reality, resisting the unchangeable. And that resistance is where most of our suffering actually lies. The gap between what we want and what is creates suffering. But there are two ways to close that gap. You can change reality sometimes, or you can change your relationship to reality. That second move is always available. It's the move Jesus made in Gethsemane. It's the move Frankl made in the camps. It's the move available to you right now. This doesn't mean toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing. It doesn't mean pretending pain isn't real. It means what happened in that garden, full acknowledgement of what you're facing, full experience of your fear, and then a deliberate choice about what you'll do with it. That's not denial, that's integration. The practice is simple but not easy. When you face something you cannot change, pause, name what you feel, the fear, the grief, the resistance, don't suppress it. Then ask, what is within my control here? Almost always, the answer is your interpretation, your response, your choice about what this moment means and what you'll do next. Gethsemane teaches us that accepting the inevitable doesn't require heroic indifference. It requires honest reckoning with what is, combined with conscious choice about how you'll meet it. And that combination, that's where real strength lies, not in the absence of fear, in the presence of choice despite fear. You'll face your own Gethsemane moments, times when circumstances are fixed and only your response remains yours. When that happens, remember, the suffering doesn't come from what's inevitable, it comes from the resistance. And resistance, unlike circumstance, is always within your control. Subscribe to explore more timeless philosophies that reveal how to live with clarity and purpose in an uncertain world.